My dear friends, as Buddha wisely said, attachment is the root of all suffering. Dear friend, have you ever found yourself holding on to something so tightly, even though it's causing you more pain than peace? Sometimes letting go can be the hardest thing we do, but it's also the path to true freedom. Welcome to the Motivation Zone of Freedom, where we explore stories and insights that inspire personal growth. In today's video, we'll dive into the story of a monk, a wealthy man, and a simple robe, a lesson on how releasing attachment can bring us lasting peace. Let's take this journey together and discover how to let go with grace and move forward with ease. Imagine a peaceful, ancient village where simplicity and mindfulness reign. In this quiet village lived a humble monk, known for his detachment from the material world. He owned very little, embracing a life of inner peace and spiritual practice. One day, a wealthy man, dressed in fine clothing and carrying a luxurious robe, approached the monk's small, serene dwelling. The man, wanting to honor the monk's modest lifestyle, brought him this extravagant gift, a finely woven robe, far beyond what the monk usually wore. The contrast between the monk's calm, centered presence and the wealthy man's opulence sets the stage for a deeper lesson in attachment. The wealthy man, full of pride and expectation, presented the robe to the monk. The monk, always kind and gracious, smiled and thanked him sincerely for the gift. But something lingered in the air. The wealthy man wasn't satisfied with just a thank you. He wanted more. Perhaps he expected the monk to praise the quality of the robe or to express admiration for his generosity. Sensing the man's inner discomfort, the monk, ever so calm, asked a simple yet profound question. "Do you want the robe back?" The man, taken aback, quickly denied this. He had given the gift willingly, so why would he want it returned? But the monk's next words struck deep. "Then why do you still cling to it?" In that moment, the man realized it wasn't the robe he was holding onto. It was the recognition and validation he hoped to receive. The tension between his expectations and the monk's peaceful detachment highlights a powerful lesson. True giving comes without strings attached, and peace can only be found in letting go of our need for approval.
Dear friend, the story of the monk and the robe is much more than a simple tale of giving and receiving. The robe, in this case, represents anything we hold onto, whether it's something we give, a favor we do, or an experience we've gone through. It's a symbol of our attachments, those invisible strings that we often tie to our actions and expectations. How many times have you given something, done something kind, or put effort into a relationship, but still found yourself waiting for recognition, acknowledgement, or a certain outcome? The monk's wise response shows us that true peace comes when we release these attachments. It's not the physical act of giving that binds us. It's the emotional weight of expectation that creates suffering. When we cling to the hope of praise or validation, we trap ourselves in a cycle of disappointment. The lesson here, my friend, is that letting go doesn't just mean releasing physical things. It means freeing ourselves from the need for approval, validation, or outcomes that match our desires. The monk teaches us that detachment doesn't mean not caring. It means caring without needing something in return. By releasing our attachments, both physical and emotional, we open ourselves to true freedom from the endless chase for satisfaction and the need to control what happens next. In that space, dear friend, we find inner peace. Dear friend, now let's take a moment to reflect on our own lives. Think about the gifts you've given, the efforts you've made, or even the experiences that have shaped you. What are you still holding on to? Perhaps it's a moment where you helped someone and expected them to appreciate you more, or maybe it's a situation where you gave so much, but the recognition never came. Are you still clinging to those expectations? Consider this. What would happen if you released that need for acknowledgement? Imagine the peace that could come from simply letting go of what you cannot control. Holding on to expectations, whether in relationships, careers, or personal growth, often leads to frustration and disappointment. By clinging to how we think things should be, we close ourselves off to the possibility of accepting life as it is. The story of the monk shows us that we can find peace not in what we receive, but in what we're willing to let go of. Ask yourself, in your relationships, are you giving freely, or are you waiting for validation? Once you're aware of these attachments, practice releasing them. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means shifting your focus. Instead of waiting for external validation, find satisfaction in the action itself. When you give freely without waiting for something in return, you'll notice how much lighter you feel. True fulfillment comes from the act of giving, doing, or creating, not from the praise or recognition that might follow. Another way to practice letting go is by living in gratitude, but without clinging to the things you're thankful for. Be grateful for every moment, every experience, and every relationship, but recognize that these things are not yours to hold tightly. When you allow life to flow naturally, appreciating what comes and letting go of what leaves, you invite more peace into your heart. In everyday life, these small shifts in mindset can make a world of difference. In your career, are you striving for personal growth, or is your focus on external rewards? By shifting your mindset and loosening your grip on expectations, you'll open up space for peace, clarity, and real joy in your life. Dear friend, the next time you catch yourself holding onto something, whether it's an expectation or an attachment to an outcome, remember the monk's words. Why do you still cling to it? Let go and see how much lighter life feels. Dear friend, as we take the story from the monk's wisdom and apply it to our own lives, it's important to start by recognizing what we're holding on to. Sometimes, without even realizing it, we carry the weight of expectations, whether it's expecting someone's gratitude after a kind act or hoping for recognition in our work. Begin by gently noticing where these hidden expectations lie in your life. It could be in your relationships, your career, or even in how you perceive yourself. By acknowledging expectations, releasing the need for validation, and practicing gratitude without attachment, you will start to experience life in a much more peaceful and grounded way. Dear friend, the robe in this story is more than just a gift. It symbolizes the things we hold on to, whether physical or emotional. The monk's wisdom reminds us that the weight we feel often comes from our own attachments. Letting go doesn't mean losing. It means gaining freedom. Take a moment and ask yourself, what are you holding onto that you no longer need? It could be an expectation, a past hurt, or even a desire for recognition. Letting go of these attachments can open the door to true peace. As you move forward, remember this: life becomes so much lighter when we stop clinging. If this story resonated with you, I encourage you to take this lesson with you into your daily life. And if you'd like to join me on more journeys of reflection and growth, subscribe to the Motivation Zone at Freedom. Together, we'll continue exploring the beauty of letting go, finding peace, and living with freedom in our hearts. Thank you for being here, my friend. Let's keep walking this path toward true inner freedom, one step at a time.